Right, finishing up this 3-session, hour-long marathon with Chapter 20. And this is Lord Baron, which I'm assuming is actually a mistranslation of Lord Baron, which makes no more sense, but at least is, vaguely plausible. So we're going out to get back another one of the guard stones, which by my count will leave only one left out there. And the Queen is, well, bitch slapping like a bitch. I'm using that an awful lot lately. So 6 people total, and despite supposedly having backup in the intro cinematic, we're going to be completely solo in the actual match. And yes, the game does immediately start you off in front of 2 giant spiky spinning pillars. Sadly, the enemies spawn on the other side of the map, so it's not actually a good idea to wait around and use them. This room is good, by the way. It has a guillotine, it has a ship you can drop on people. It even has some other fun stuff I'll show you later on. But we're going to take this basic. We're going to hole up in here and use this as our sort of main base of operations for this level. Simply because it's very effective. It has so many good traps you can use that it's just not really fair. Which is good because honestly, fuck fighting fair in this game. This is deception. You do not play fair in deception. It just doesn't work that way. You cannot play fair in a game where a single enemy hit can knock off half your health, and you may have to go through up to 10 enemies in a single fight. And that's just beyond the impossible. So every dirty trick in the book is on the table and in use, and simply because it works. I got a distinct feeling I've fucked up the placement on this, though. Almost certainly, yeah. You can see the switch above the head of Bianca is to set off. So you can see me setting off the Thor hammer for no apparent reason there. Just to test it, I think. This is the problem with having a gap between recording and talking over. I forget sometimes what I've been doing. So obviously we need to readapt because I've clearly got things in the wrong spot. Yeah, it's just slow right now. The other thing is, the reason I need to set this up very carefully is Siesta, the second enemy you're seeing, who will show up in about a second or two, is a white mage. You can see he walked right in, didn't walk, he ended up right in front of it. And we're going to change her to bear trap. Because she's a white mage, she will heal other enemies given the chance, heal herself, and more dangerously, she will actually retreat when outmatched. And there's the flare rock landing on him. So I need to get rid of him as soon as I can. Luckily he's slow enough that I can just do that and take them both down. I need to get rid of her because she will try and retreat, and if she is able to retreat, gotta love how the guillotine just comes down on him even after he's dead, just to prove a point. If I let her get away, she will run away, she will heal herself and then heal everyone else I'm supposed to be killing, thus drawing the level out retardedly long. And while it's good for getting extra combo points if you really need that, I don't care. So at this point, it's simply going to need to be to get rid of her as soon as possible, which is, luckily for us, fairly easy. She has a predictable path of retreat. She'll try and run out the door to get away from me. Rafal with a rather rhetorical question, like, there is the guillotine, cuts off his legs. So she will turn around, she will heal herself as you saw just there, and she's going to try and run out the door. Right over the bear trap. I'm going to get some distance, that combo was meant to set off the flamer, but she'd already put herself into the fireplace, so it didn't make any effect. Now our 2 enemies are Nirvana and Garibaldi, which I'm assuming is meant to be Garibaldi. Anyway, the guillotine there is actually quite dangerous because it's an automated trap. It goes off whenever it detects somebody underneath it, and that includes you. So you need to actually walk around the gouge in the floor rather than over it. You'd have thought the gouge in the floor would be quite a good warning, but anyway, apparently not. Some of you probably remember this room. Sort of dragons head up in the centre. You can use to set fire to people, but they're not going to go into that position, I don't think. Luckily, there's stairs for me to unleash the trusty flare rock, and both of my enemies are. Garibaldi's a thug type enemy. He's not particularly advanced or difficult to deal with. He just has a lot of HP and hits like a, well, tank. Nirvana is the one who's going to be problematic. She's a sorcerer. She has the darkness special ability, which is what you saw just then, where she makes the screen incredibly dark, makes it impossible to see what's going on, and also shuts down your mini-map so you can't know where anyone is. Sometimes, however, they're predictable enough that you can drop a flare rock on them, because it will roll down, and I knew they were hiding up the end there, and the flare rock's got a decent blast radius on it. Unfortunately, I now have to figure out what I'm going to do, despite not being able to see where I'm going and having no indication of enemies on my mini-map. So it's time to retreat and set up a trap so that I can get them as they come through and hopefully eliminate them. Although they're both going to come through very close together, so I'm going to probably have to rely on my preset combo here because I don't have time to adjust it and I need Nirvana dead now. Because the longer she can run around and cause problems, the more likely I am to get murdered by Garibaldi here. When you can't see them, a 7-foot-tall fat man coming out of nowhere is rather unnerving and intimidating. So I got her there with the bear trap. Got her just with the wall. And if I can drop the flare rock on it, there we go. That'll finish it. Which is good, because I'm going to need to get some distance. That is... I swear that still sounds to me like it was sourced from a dodgy porno film. I cannot take that death scream seriously, because the first part is all, oh god, I'm screaming in agony, and then, well, there's the second half. So, now's a good time to set up some more trap combos and hopefully utilise some of the room devices in here, because I've sadly neglected this one. This one's going to be, and I shit you not, the first appearance in the game of the fucking lasers. You'll see what I mean in a second. So we're setting things up here. We need to get some distance. We've got a 3-trap combo here. Hopefully enough to kill him. Or not. It probably won't actually. Garibaldi's fairly resilient. Anyway. We're going to try and set this up. We need to get clear because we can't actually see a damn thing. I don't know where Garibaldi is at this point, so I've got to get clear, wait for the darkness to wear off, which it should do about now. He's going to run round the corner and he's going to chase me with that giant fuck-off hammer of his. Or at least I think it's a hammer. Whatever it is, it's big and it's dangerous and I don't want anything to do with it. So what we're going to try and do is lure him over the footcutter square, hit him with the ice arrow. That'll freeze him for a second, even though it only does 1 damage. Giant fucking lasers. And there we're going to send him across into there. Only to find out the hard way that the lava in this map doesn't actually damage people. It appears to be orange-coloured cordial or something, because it can't actually hurt anyone. And now we have a problem, because while he's been slowed down, Garibaldi is still alive and mostly kicking. One-legged, but kicking anyway. And Lord Baran's about to come and fuck me up. So I need to get rid of these guys, and fast, because Lord Baran is, for a man in a couple 100 kilos of steel armour, very fast. He's a boss, he's a Hell Knight, a boss type enemy. Nowhere near as bad as some of the ones in the earlier game, because I have more powerful traps now to deal with them. Enemies don't get upgraded from stage to stage. But I need to do something about this guy fast, because 2 of them together are going to wreck my ship. Fortunately, Garibaldi is still not all that smart, so I can still get him with the age-old combo here. I'm going to trap him. This combo didn't exactly work perfectly, because Lord Baran's introduction here, blocked it. He really doesn't like me very much, this Lord Baran. Although he is plotting a revolution, and so am I, so I'm guessing sort of this would be okay. I have no idea what the hell just happened there, but it was apparently enough to do something. and enough to launch Garbaldi halfway across the map. As you can see now, I'm cornered by the two of them. I need to get clear, and I need to set up a trap combo elsewhere. Unfortunately, Garbaldi's stunning ability right there is going to screw this up and give me very little time to get things organised. Luckily for me, there's only these two left. If there were any more minions to come after Garbaldi, I would be in a lot more trouble than I already am. This room is also rather devoid of traps that I can use effectively. It's really only the giant spinning pillars, which is kind of problematic. Anyway, this is going to be interesting because what I need to do... And you can see I fucked that up there. I've left the bear trap in the wrong spot. Not quite the wrong spot, just a less than perfect spot. So we're going to see who comes out that door first. I've got a feeling it's going to be Lord Baron. Lord Baron. Redundant, but so is most of this game. And yep, here comes the fat fuck with the halberd. Bear trap, which does no damage, and you see me complete... I don't know what just happened there. I think the flare rock rode along the top of it. And when it went over, it went into the wall and exploded on top of him. Which, as you see Garbaldi just missing with a massive hammer swing there. Which launched him away from the spinning pillar that I wanted him to. Sorry, my mistake. Lord Baron's an armor type enemy, not a Hell Knight. The Hell Knights are the actual bosses. Or equivalent thereof, one of them. The armor one is just a particularly tough normal mook. Very good defense. Quite resistant to being stunned. Generally fairly dangerous. So we're going to need to grab Garbaldi as he comes through. In the hope, more or less, that we're going to murder him. Stone dead. That's really all there is to it. Yeah, there's nothing complicated about this. I just need him out of the way as soon as possible so I can focus on actually taking out the more dangerous opponent. While they have about the same health, it's Lord Baron's resistance to things that makes him dangerous. Garbaldi is quite vulnerable to being beaten around. Because he's, well, slow and big and his attacks have a massive telegraphing nature. Anyway, so we're going to adjust that because I clearly fucked up that trap. We're going to see how this works. We're going to have to wait for one of them to come through, and it's going to be Garbaldi who comes out first. Thor's hammer comes through, sends him flying over that one. I'm going to launch him back past it. And into a bunch of stuff. Barrel didn't explode, but he did get hit with the flying barrel. And Garbaldi does kind of have a point about us helping the villains here. Queen Margareta clearly is not someone we want to be serving under. So we're going to have to arrange for some regicide at the nearest opportunity. Hopefully what the next couple of stages will entail. I can't remember what comes up next. As you can see, only really the mad pillars to use. The bonfires are on top of the pillars. Getting somebody up onto them is rather difficult. Doable, but quite difficult. So we're going to need to find a way to send him into the pillars and hopefully finish the job. And of course the heal stones, but you haven't seen me use them all game because luckily I haven't needed them yet. I almost certainly will in the last couple of stages. Of course the room devices, as I should have mentioned a long time ago, act as arc multipliers for your trap, your combo score. So we're going to break out the vacuum floor again, which I probably should upgrade a bit before the final few levels. I've got a feeling it's going to be incredibly useful. Actually, it's more than a feeling. I know how the king tends to react to these things. He's a complete coward. He's not going to come and fight me, so I'm going to need some way of luring him in. Unfortunately, the vacuum floor is agonizingly slow to charge up. It only is useful when you can basically run into a room beforehand and set shit up your own way. But we're going to wait for Lord Baron to come out. We're going to grab him with the vacuum floor, hit him with the arrow even though it won't do jack shit, and Thor hammer him when he actually deigns to show up. With his, there's the vacuum floor, there's the cold arrow, which does all 1 damage. Bam. Thor's hammer took for 26 damage, right into it. Not enough to kill him, as you saw him being quite resistant to the damage right there. A normal enemy would have been murdered utterly by it. His defense is good enough that it's very difficult to do anything to him with those. So we're going to change the combo a little bit. We're going to use the floor cutter to send him into the warp hole, which will then be used to drop a flare rock on him. Unfortunately, it means I've got to get back round the other side of him before I can do anything with it. You can see in the dark it's kind of hard to tell where he is. You've got to go off the audio. So we're going to get on the other side of the foot cutter, let the dumbass walk into it. There's the warp hole, which lands on him but does no damage whatsoever. And there's the flare rock, which he's not very resistant to and is enough to finish the job. He's finished. Poor bastard. I mean, he had it coming, but still. Because, I mean, I like it. And I was mistaken. The last thing we need to get is the core stone, which belongs to Frederick the King. I don't think this is going to be easy. I somehow don't think he's going to want to part with it willingly. And looks like I wasn't the only one plotting regicide, because now we're going to have to kill the king. I swear, by the end of this, there's not going to be a single named character left alive.